Let's wait for few minutes to join other.
Okay, sir.
Okay, so let's start the rest part of our unit 3, that the organizations of a research paper, how research paper can be organized, how it can be, what are the different parts of the research paper. Okay, let's share my screen. Organizations of research paper. How? Hello.
Yes,
Yes, 1 minute. Okay, I have some network issue. So let's start. Is the screen visible to you? All of you? Okay. So we are discussing about a research paper. Actually, paper and a research paper, it is a different kinds of thing. A paper which may be either some of the uh, 1 minute. A research paper where we can describe our research or our result in the paper or internationally published in some journals. So the research paper, how it can be write, what is the way, how, what is the flow we can write a good research paper. So basic at this we are going to study the organizations of the research paper. That means what is the flow, how step by step, what are the things behind this research paper, how it is right, just going in details. So what is the research paper? It is the findings of the scientific findings of a documentation. That means after doing the research you are going to document this and internationally going to be recognizable by some scientific community. So that medium is the research paper, that is the international communications or national communication between you and your scientific finding and the rest of the world or scientific community. This is the documentation of that part. Once you have put this or want to have to write a paper and it is will be published in a scientific journal, then it will be recognizable your work or your scientific work, that is permanently recognizable by scientific communities. So these scientific communities are all together make a group that is called research paper or research scientific community groups, and they have some peoples where they are continuously writing this paper in the form of journals and contribute their scientific findings, and that can be helpful to each other to what is going on, what type of research is going on, all the things. So a research paper is an explained essay or present one interpretations or evaluations or argument. Nothing that this paper is a communications, because only when whatever you do in your research or your findings, you have to communicate with the team, that is scientific community team. So the it is maybe the finding or it may be the exaggerations, or whether you may evaluate some kind of things, or whether it is a argument. Argument means someone who is already publish a paper and stating that the temperature of this particular water body is 35 degrees centigrade, and you are going to prove that thing as no, it is not 35, it is 37 degree. So you are going to prove that thing 35, not 37. So you have to make an argument with this previous one. So whenever you are going to publish those particles, so you have having sufficient proof and make an argument why it is not 35, not it is 75, sorry, 37. So all these things are going to be one published. That means you are having proof that you are right and is wrong. Or whether it is evaluations, you are going to some evaluate some new instrument, or making some calibration kind of study, or whatever may be the result, or making some solutions, so whatever may be, you can write in the form of documentation or paper and publish in a suitable journal. Then anyone writes a research paper, they build upon what they know about the subject and the experts, because you are the whole author of the research paper, you are writing the research paper, you know the expert of your field and the content of your paper, both are known by you. Then research paper involves surveying a field knowledge in order to get the best information in the field. This is one kind of research, where the survey research. So what are the area which you are can publish in a research paper? So which area? That means which area you can publish. It is maybe science, maybe arts, humanity, religion, management, language, everywhere. Everywhere there are, you can finding some new facts, new arguments or new comments, and publish a research paper in their own domain. What's the essence of the science publication? Because we are in the science field, working in the science field, or we are writing in the scientific journal or scientific research paper, not a article or language research paper. So science, so what is science? Science must be, or the publication of science consisting of these things. It should be publicly available, its objectives are also clear, it is maybe predictive, it is reproducible, systematic, cumulative, and these things are already we are discussed about it, what is the good characteristics of a research. So all good characteristics of research are the basic theme or basic steps of the research publications. For example, here it is given one example of a biomedical research. Actually, this is a one scientific research. So in this consider these examples. So why should I read? That means a research is a paper. If you are one published, then someone has to read, and that process is applicable to you. Before going to publish a paper, you are also going to read literature survey, or you are going to read different types of research paper previously published. So why you are going to choose a particular research paper to read carefully? Because it's having your own domain, your own interest, and the way where the research is written, that is also very clearly and it is understandable. So you have now developing yourself a writer, because you are writing a research paper, so you are a writer. Before a writer, before you are being a writer, you are a reader, because writing, before reading writing, you are reading some research paper. So before a writer, you must be a reader, good reader. So being a reader, how to read a research paper? Because once you have published the research paper, someone has to read. So you have to understand the basic abilities or basic mindset of a reader first. According to that, we are going to write, because we are writing in such a way that more and more readers is going to be read. If you are writing a research paper and no one should be read, then what is the meaning of the writing of research paper? That is no use. So you have to write a paper so that more or new researchers that can be read your research paper. So that the questions, why someone is read, why someone read your research paper? Because it must be your the researcher's domain. That's why it is going to search your research paper and read to find whether it is a new diagnostic. For example, the biomedical research, for example, it is a new diagnostic or a new treatment method you have evolved, or to learn clinical resources, or determine ethology, causations, or distinguish different useless or therapy. So this is the examples for where biomedical research, why you are interested to read. Because in biomedical research, if you are developing a new drugs or a new treatment, or you are going to prove the older version of treatment is useless, everything that can be a interesting topic, then also the reader is going to read. So that's why the research paper divided into these five most important categories. So these are mostly called as the organization of the research paper, or different body of the research paper. So that is called IMARD. This is called IMARD, image story. It is also as the organization of research paper or a main body part of the research paper. So first is called I, that is introduction sections. Besides this IMARD, there are so many things are there in the research paper before writing a research paper. But what happened? These things, 5 things are most important. So I means it is introductions. So whatever you are writing in introduction sections, that should be very much clear. And what you have write in that sections, what questions were studies. That means your research questions details deliberately expression or expressions or explanations of your research questions, why particularly you are going to research on that particular questions, what is the importance of your research findings or research questions, why your main aim to study this type of work, you have to explain in details in the introduction section. Then come to second term, that is called methods. Methods means how was the question studies. That means your questions or your research problem, that is being you have stated that you have explained how why you are select that things in the introduction section. Then how this can be studied, what are the methods by which you are going to study these questions based solutions, that is detailedly described in the method sections. Then come to A, that means it is analysis. Analysis is which data was studies. That means the data, collections of data, analysis of data, which data and how it can be studied. So the numbers of data where it can be collected and the details about the data and analysis that will be carried out in analysis sections. Then result. Result is in analysis section you just note down in a tabular form your result, sorry result or your data, not going to be interpret or not going to calculate the result. It is only the data. Then result sections, what you have new found, that is your result. Why some things or new diagnostic treatment or a new methods is your method is an improved method and is better than the previous methods. All these things are evidentially you have to prove in result sections. This is called as result sections. Then last part of the important of the research paper is discussion. Discussion is what do the result means. If you are find that the temperature of particular body is 37 degree, so why it is 37 degree, you are going to prove it or you are going to make a hypothesis or you are going to make some interpret or you are going to some exaggerate these things in your own language by quoting different previous versions of previous literatures. That is called discussion section. So this IMARD, this is the main body part of the organizations of the research paper, any kinds of research paper. Then apart from this, apart from this IMARD, there are some additions are the important parts are there. For example, title. A research paper having some titles. After that, it has some authors. Then some affiliations, which in academia or which organizations you are belongs to. That is any that is, are you a researcher, are you a lecturer, or are you a scientist? You just affiliate your institutes and your organizations. That is called affiliations. Then apart from this, below that extract was there, keywords are there, emails are there, some things are there in between this part of the research papers. Then subsections are there in between these introduction sections or in material method section. There are some subheadings are also there. For example, in material sections, the use, material use, chemical use, then methods use, for different methods for BOD, COD, water methods you are going to use, for example, water analysis. So all are comes under some subsections of in each individual sections. Then tables and figures are also part of the paper because it should be clearly indicate your data and analysis and also result and discussion, because the tables and figures are important part of the research papers. Then references, which papers we are going to cite, what are the literature review you have already studied, it can be comes in reference sections. That can, after that, acknowledgement, who are the persons or organizations that can help in your research, you just acknowledge, or the funding agencies who are going to funded for your research, you have to details, make details acknowledgement in the acknowledgement section for that. And last part, that is a electronic supplement, it is optional. It is optional. You have to give some evidential proof for particular types of research. That means if you are measuring some temperature, if you are taking some water sample from some rivers, then you have to collected, you have collected your photograph at that geotech photograph. Yes, that is the proof or evidence. Either it is a photograph, either it is a video, either it is a simulations type of thing, or either maybe it is a any types of audio message. That is comes under electronic supplement. It is not required everywhere, but somewhere, as a researcher, or as a we are making the observe, we are using the observation methods for the data collections, we have sufficient amount of proof for that. जो भी करना होता है आपको प्रूफ रखना होता है. तो if this proofs in your hand, then you can give this as a electronic supplements in the research paper, that is can give an weightage for your research paper. Then how to read the research paper? Before, I already told, before writing, you are read some paper, so you have to understand the reader mindset before writing mindset. So as a good writer, you have become to a good reader part. So how to read the good research paper? What is the main things? Read a scientific paper as a critic. This is the main theme behind your good reader. Whether you are writing or whether you are reading some research paper or previously published review of literature paper, then you are not just writing, just overlook the research paper, but you are reading this scientific journals or paper as a critic. Means you are always be a criticized for that. If something result is published, you are always had some doubt on that. You have always asked some question, why, how it will come becomes the your result, and is the result is the sufficient, or if you have some betterment of the result, if you have do the betterment of the result. If, for example, if some previously published paper, they have extract 80% of this pollutant from the water samples, and you are going to extract 80 to 81%, even 1% higher than that, same using same method and same things, then your paper will be published and you are the successful researchers, your research will be successful. That's why you are always find a problem, and that always read the research paper as a critic or criticism always. So understand the problem and understand the proposed solutions and evaluate the paper, understand the competing approach, because you are going to compete with that. It is already extract 80% of the pollutant. If you are not able to extract 80%, then your research is not valuable. Even if you are extract 89, it is also sorry 79, it is not be acceptable at all, because already 80% is, whether you are prove that the 80% is wrong, or whether next option is you have extract the pollutant 81% or more than 80%. There are two options for you for your publishing of research paper or having a successful researchers. So that's why you have always read as a critic. So peer review is the customer of the scientific publishing process. That's why when you are publishing research paper, the review process is the going on, because the review process that criticize your paper for whether it is a good or not, or that may be based on your review. Then next part is evaluations or evaluate a paper. First is become a critic. Second is evaluations or evaluations. As you are a reader, because I am going to discuss the reading part. You are now a reader, become a good reader. So evaluate a paper. So someone is going to read a paper, then you must evaluate the paper. Whether do not blindly accept whatever published is very well and he is a renowned person, so I blindly accept the result. No, no, do not do that. You have to evaluate the paper according to your own criteria and your own methods. That may be wrong. The result you are already published, some percent or even 1 2% may be getting wrong. Who knows? So you have to evaluate the paper according to your own. So what problem is going to solve? Is it important? It is relevant? Or what prior work in this area have done or not? Everything, every aspect comes to your mind. You just evaluate the paper as a reader. So same thing applicable to you. When you are published a paper, then someone going to read. They are also going to evaluate your research result. Then the proposed solution is clear or not, cleverness, original or importance or not. That means your originality or some had copied from these things, all the things. Then also impact. Elsevier to calculate the older paper or the what build paper technique solutions, all the things. So overall things you are going to evaluate. So first thing is a critique, second is called evaluations. So how the evaluation process work? Read slowly, take notes as you read. This is the methods how you can read a research paper. How you read. Questions, assumptions, importance of the problem. Everywhere you note the important things in your note copy while you are reading. Write questions to track your do not understand. Somewhere some point you have do not understand, just make a note on this point I do not understand. Even if you not clear, then you can make an email or contact the actual author and discuss these things to him or to her. So that is the main thing. Then sometimes what is not in the paper also more important than what is in it, because the research paper is a short thing. It is limited up to 10 to 8 pages only. Because whenever you are writing, yesterday I will discuss, whenever writing your research thesis or research reports, it may be 100, 200 pages, because it details in details. You are writing in details. But whenever you are writing a paper, it is not possible to include all details in the research paper. So it is limited to 10 pages. So some hidden properties or some hidden important things are also there in research paper. So if you are not finding it is or not do not understand, that is also you have to make a note. Is something is author have overlooked or nothing. So everything is come to your concentration and evaluate the paper. Do not let the idea, design details, understand all the, do not assume the paper is correct. I already said, do not blindly accept any published paper is correct. Even if you are not evaluated, even if the research paper is going through a review process, obviously, but that might be some ambiguous or errority maybe comes in that paper. So always do not blindly accept it is correct whatever it is written. You have evaluate yourself before accept the paper or before going to forward or progress or before going to take his result as a secondary data and going to your using in your own research. So that is the next part, the evaluations. Then these are the ground rules for be a good reader or try to understand. Do not be afraid to ask. If you are do not understand while reading something, some points, do not afraid to ask. Just email or just make a call or anything. Anything is if you are not getting answers, then you always get answers from the actually the published the paper has published by a known scientist or a good researcher. Then all researchers should uh, clearly answer your questions. Do not hesitate to ask. Be constructive, be polite, and do not afraid to criticize. Everywhere you have to criticize and evaluate. That is the main purpose to the reader, purpose of the reader. Two types of scientific paper containing two types of informations. We already know either is a review articles or maybe a research articles. So review articles is the overview of the whatever published or whatever published in before, and you just summarize. You do not have to do research you of your own. Just summarize 100 or 200 research paper previously published of a particular domain and conclude or take some 1 2 sentence or summarize every research paper in one single one. So that is called review articles. it is very easy to write review articles because you do not have to make your own result of research or analysis. Just make a summary of different types of research papers already published. And second is primary research articles, that is your original data, original research result or conclusions that you have included, that is called research articles or primary research articles that do not have published in before. So these are the different kinds of information we have to going to publish as a paper. So first read the extract in order to understand the major point of the works. Before you are once you download the research questions or research paper published, then you have to first read your extract, then understand the major points. If it is enough to understand and if you are going to help you that paper in your research, then go in details and thoroughly to the research paper. Unless you just discard that paper, do not waste your time for unnecessary work. It refresh your memory and also topic. It helps the reader to integrate new informations, because if someone uses some new methods or some new innovations, then just read this paper carefully, so it can be enhance your knowledge as well as your points of view. Then introductions can be skimmed. The logical flow of papers goes straight from the introduction to results, then discussion, interpretations of the findings. See, this is the proper way, the easy to do a paper organized properly or not. You have to check, because you are going to you are writing, not writing. You are now reading the paper. So in the reading, after if you are reading the abstract, you find that this paper is suitable for your result. Then go to read introduction sections. And introduction section, there are at least one or two paragraphs, sorry, 2 pages of introduction sections. So introduction section also, there are important parts are there. So first paragraph of introduction sections and the last paragraph of introduction section, that is contains vital information regarding this total research. So you should go to for that. Then after that you directly go to result, whatever what are the data you have published, it is acceptable or not, please decide is. Then go to discussion sections and interpret the result according to your own view and criticize to the discussion of these publishers or the writers. How to read the results? So there are some basic concepts, that means how to read the introduction, that is some points. How to do the results, because not just merely reading the results can be satisfy your goals. So results you have to also read, that means examine the figure. Somehow what happened, the written part and the figure part, they are do not match. At that time you just discard the paper. If the figure or some tables, it says different things, and while discussion the author written is different things, so it do not match. So do not just go on a written form or figure form, just match them, whether the data are written are coincides or data written are same as the figure as provided or not. Examine that thing. Take notes. With which experiment figures you should able to explain the basic procedures, questions through the answer, result and conclusion and criticisms. Every parts, whatever you are making note previously, that should be, because you are the reading the results. According to you, you are finding some basic knowledge and procedure which can be best fit to your result. Then how to read a discussions? Discussions कैसे पढ़ेंगे? It takes a note, answer the questions. What conclusions did the author draw? Whether the conclusions written by the author is compromise or it is agree with the results or not, or is showing result differently, or it written the words in conclusion differently, or it is make a generalization conclusion. It should be criticized by you. That means as a reader, now ask yourself, this data is significant, whether the data are provided by the authors are correct or not, or in a correct way, or having some errors. You have to criticize all these things in the discussion sections. By now you may be tired of this paper, but do not relax. Whenever you analyzing or reading this research paper by downloading, so it is a very tedious task. going to abstract, introductions, result, by matching the figures, by the words, all the things, making notes. It is a very tedious task. But whenever you complete all these steps and lastly found that the research article is having a good match with your research questions, and if this may be a good reference for you, then do not be relaxed. Just आज का काम हो गया. No. You do not be relaxed. You have to go more and more for this next reading or next research paper for overall criticism. Criticism means that is a reflections of some argument. We are going to argue with this paper, author of the paper, that whether they are correct or not. Reflections and criticisms कैसे करना है? How do you criticize or reflect this your all the things? So, do you agree with the author's rationale and setting of the experiment they did? इतने सारे काम करने के बाद you are going to agree with the result and discussions according to the authors or not, because now you are not writing, you are not start to writing, you are a reader, because you as you reader, as a scientist or scientist or researcher, as a reader, whenever you publish your result and your authors, your publications was also will be also criticized by the different scientists or different or researchers. That's why you are know these things. Did the perform experiment appropriately, where this enough data experiment supports your findings, or you see some patterns or in your data, if it is increasing, decreasing, or some irregular behavior are seen. Do you agree with the author's conclusions, whether the author is reading is right or same with your conclusions by reading overall things? But what further questions do you have? If all questions of your arise in your mind are clearly doubt clear or having some more questions, what might you suggest to next? After reading this paper, what may be the improvement should be or may be done with these types of research paper? All these things you have to make clear. Reading a scientific paper, struggle with the paper, active nor not passive reading. Active, not passive reading. That means it is a very important thing. If you are reading a story book, you just reading a story book, that is your main purpose is to become understand the story. But here, a research paper you are not read as a story, because it is a critic, because you read it is a critic things. So all these things we are going to highlight under text, all the things I am going to do not, if don't understand, ask them, rewrite. So see these things, same things or same paper, two different researchers can be in a different way. See in this figure, it is a dog rabbit ambiguous image. What do you think that this figure, what is the figure? It is a, if someone it is say that it left to right, it is a dog, the looks like a dog, and someone it looks right to left, it is a head of a rabbit. So same figure, but two different person perceptions is different. One is saying that it is a dog head, one is saying that it is a rabbit head. Both are correct. लोगों का देखने का नजरिया अलग है. So this view or perceptions of your mindset, that can be explained the same thing in two different ways. So this is the main beauty of our research papers. So according to your view, that may not be agree with the writer view or reader view or the writer view. So at that point, you are going to be clear what is your motive, what is your perceptions. So according to that, you are going to proceed further. So this is another examples, because up to this we are going to, we are clear about how to read or how to become a good reader. So now we are going to see how to become a good writer, of a good writer, or how to write a research paper. That is the next things. So it is examples in medical science, medical writings. What is the things in medical writer? So have you seen some prescriptions? Have you seen prescriptions of your any disease, if you are some failing fever or having some issues, then you are going for a doctor for written, he is written some prescription and this prescription you do not understand anything, but that same prescription is quite understand by the druggist or the chemist or the shopkeeper, medical shop. They easily understand the writing of the doctors, but you do not understand even 100%. I can try 100%, you do not understand anything. So this is called medical writing, or this is called what have been that called? That is called prescription writing. So that should not be. Actually, whatever the doctor written in this prescription, that is 100% correct, but that is only understood by some categories of people, or some categories, or only the chemist persons, not everyone. So like this, whenever you are writing, or whenever you are going to write a research paper, you are write in a way that your reviewer, your public, and your readers should clearly understand whatever you are written. That should be clear, not ambiguous type of things. So this is the main thing behind your writing. So obviously, doctors, BS writers, I already discussed these things. The writing scientific papers who takes care of the patient having a procedures. That means it is a not a immediate task. Doctors, they are written immediate, within 1 minute they are written one page of prescriptions, and that is not good enough. But as a scientific paper writer, you do not you cannot write a research paper within 1 day or 1 hour. It takes so much time. It takes months, even if some 2 months, 3 months to write completely. If you are considering the whole time period of a research, then it may be either 6 months, it may be in your case, dissertation is 6 months, or some case it is 2 years and 3 years to write or complete a complete research paper, complete research paper. So it is not easy task. So make patience, and initially from initially you have to prepare for writing alongside of your research. You are doing research side by side and you just everything note down in your copy and note down as a make of research, make a report or report things, that in details everything you are making note. So whenever you write a research paper, just gather the important informations and having a proper output for that. Best preparation of writing, good protocol in study, important questions, hypothesis, clear mindset, all things, whatever the objectives, answers, whatever the research findings, everything we have to make a proper things. So uh, before going that, this is writing order. Okay. So how to write a particular research paper? So before writing, you have to look these things and having some things, that is first preparations. You do not having immediately something to write, because you have to, before going to rewrite a research paper, you have to go literature review, materials, method, results, everywhere you have to need or prepare something, or prepare your research uh, on your research. That is called well preparations. Without preparation you cannot write. Then goal, establish paper message and audience. First you have to make some proper goal. What should be you want to convey on your research paper, or what should you want to communicate, and who will be the audience. If you are writing some research questions based on water pollutions, then should not expect that management people are going to read this paper. So at that point you have to focus your message and audience also. So by this purpose you are going to combine your every notes. Whenever you are doing research, you have to make some, you have making some notes in the, then you have to just combine all these things by selecting the audience. Then sequence is the most important thing. Finish methods and results. After preparations, you have to make message the audience, and then goal are fixed. Then sequence wise you are going to write. First sequence is methods and result. first just note down what are the methods you have to use, and after using the methods, just make your results as a data, that is tabulations or in graph format. Prepare that thing first. You do not want to write all of different things. After getting the results and these raw or different methods, then go for discussions, introductions and reference sections. This is the proper way that your research paper should be written clearly. Then definite titles and authors. Titles and authors, these are not written initially. Initially it is written the methods, results, discussion, introduction, references. Then it can be lastly modify your titles and add authors. If someone going to help or you have some collaborations, then going to add these authors in your that things. You are as a reader, you are writing the title, reading the title first, but as a writer, the title and the author section is last. Lastly you are just correct these things. Then after writing your research paper, that is post writing, cut out two co-authors and revise. If you are having 3 and 4 co-authors are there, so if your right is written is right is completed, then what happens? You distribute these things to your co-authors and make sure then they are going to read in details and correct the different uh, corrections. Make corrections if you have having some error, then make corrections. So then after coming for that, revise and then after submit the journal. Do not haphazardly submit the journal without revisions or without all the things. So this is the proper writing order. Then get down to business. That means we will discuss these things all details, how this step by step write and what are the criteria for this title, what is the important parts in your in our next class. So today we will finish up to this. That means we are just um, conclude that before going to write something, we are going to how to read or how to read a research paper, that is most important thing. So making criticize and evaluations. Then next is the writing order or how you are going to write these papers, research papers. So what are the procedures for writing? So next class we will discuss about details, how the titles, what are the other parts, that is authors, all things details, what are the criteria for that things. So if you have any questions on this organizations of research paper, then please ask one by one, or otherwise I will ask you. Manasa, what is IMARD? What is the full from? Hello.
Question, sir?
What is the full form of IMARD?
Not so sure, sir.
Yes, this one. What is written?
Interpretation, body of research paper, introduction, method, analysis, results, and discussion.
Yes.
Yeah.
This is the main body part of the research. IMARD. This is important questions. What is IMRD? And in details, introductions, methods, analysis, result, what are the basic things in between that we will discuss in our next classes or some classes. So what are the good quality of a reader? What are the main quality of a reader? Niket, are you listening? Kusum, Charmi, anyone? what are the good quality of a reader? How you are going to read a research paper? Manasa, you want to say something? What is the good quality of a reader?
I think they have to understand the research title first.
Yes. See, first is critic. You have should have a good critic. That is criticism. Then next quality is evaluating. You should be a good evaluator. You should be a first good criticizer, evaluator. So these are the main qualities of a good reader. You have to criticize and you have to evaluate a paper. That is the main thing. So I think that all are sleeping except you, right? Niket, Kusum. Hello, Kusum.
Yes, sir.
What is the good quality of a reader? Okay, I will share these things, these slides. Just read again. Next class we will study about different aspects of this details body of the research paper. What is the title and abstract, all these things. So if you have any doubts or anything, then you can just clarify. ठीक है, आज के लिए इतना ही फिर। किसी का घर में पानी आया या सब ठीक ठाक है? हेलो। Okay, let's finish this class.